I talk about what we went through legally with him, which was a real nightmare. And so that's all in the book. And so when I finished writing the book, about 2 years ago, it was almost a month to the day that I finished it. He suddenly died. And so that was such a release to me. I didn't do the book for many years because I wanted to protect the children.
Sure.
And so when he died, we went back to do editing on the book, and so we started doing more detail with what had happened with that book.
Ramona Tuma is joining us today here in the Meeting House on Faith Radio. She is the author of the book, Prisoner of Hope, Captured by Grace. You are tuned into the Meeting House. It is the Christian Product Expo Summer 2025 show in Duluth, Georgia. Well, someone might say the second act of your story, you've had 3 different cancer
breast
encounters. You also have had 2 strokes.
Major strokes.
And obviously the Lord has been very good to you. But were there times where it was hard to see that goodness in the midst of what you were encountering?
Yeah, the first round of cancer I had was the most serious, and I had it for 6 years total. And at one point, I counted the days I had IVs, and there were 580 days of IVs that I had when I had cancer. But then the Lord healed me really through a miracle. It was just a miraculous thing. And I was only in my 40s when that happened, and my kids were little at that time. So then the other rounds of cancer didn't happen for 20 more years. And then I got COVID, and I think that's what started it all up again. So a year ago, I had it again, and then I went through treatment, and so I don't have it anymore. And that was very frustrating. But then, in 2016, I had a really massive stroke. And it was my first round, and I had 18 months of rehab with that first stroke. And just to try to, it was more physical, it was more my body was affected with that first stroke. And I was able to cope with that. I trusted the Lord. I'd watch him do miracles with me and with my children. And so I really trusted the Lord, and I started rehab, and I worked really hard at rehab and I was almost to the point of walking again when 2 years ago I had another really massive stroke. And this one was worse than the first because it took out a lot of my cognitive abilities, so I was not able to read. I was completely stripped of being able to read, and also linear thinking. You can't do math and stuff if you have linear thinking. But I had wonderful therapists, and so I had wonderful therapists that were, well, my speech therapist this time made me sing everything because it comes out of a different part of the brain.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was really, when I sang, I could remember words like Jesus loves me and stuff like that. That's how bad this was. And but piece by piece, I got my brain back. I say a brain explosion. But I also, in that time, I had the second stroke in Mexico, so my daughter flew down to be with me on that. And whether I was in the body or out of the body, I don't know. And for several days, I was just not on earth. But I didn't want to come back here. And so I learned about surrender at that time, what surrender really means, even with your life, all of it.